Hi, today we are in Berlin with Locafox. Fabian, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, I'm Fabian. I'm one of the founders of Locafox and I'm responsible for marketing here. What Locafox is a local commerce marketplace that enables consumers to find products or all available products in retail stores nearby.
From my understanding is that you are 5 founders and some of you didn't know each other before and some were new. What did you do before you started this company?
So before I worked for a big German incubator and yeah, some of the other founders did as well. But you're right, we are 5 founders and some of us work together on other projects and everyone used somebody. And in the end, we kind of got together to build Locafox together because I think we were a very complementary team with a very good team fit, very good skill set that we brought together.
And what made you change from being a, let's say, entrepreneur in an incubator to starting your own company together with your friends and colleagues?
I think I always wanted to. It was always like this goal I had, but I never had the right idea and the right thing to do to start. But then, the idea of Locafox basically came around, and I think it was a good time to jump on it, right? Because you don't often get these opportunities where you really believe in the idea and also have a great team assembled. So yeah, that was just the right time.
And how did you process to find this kind of idea?
I think there came it was not this Eureka moment where we said, oh, let's build Locafox. It was more like we all worked in e-commerce, and e-commerce is, if you look at the numbers, it's around 10% of revenues in total retail. But if you work in e-commerce, you have like the Zalandos, the Amazons. You think e-commerce is everything, but then we looked at the numbers and like, oh, we work kind of for this tiny fraction. That's interesting. And at that time when we thought about this idea, there was a very interesting study that spoke about the so-called ROPO customer, so research online, purchase offline. So there are a lot of people who actually use the internet to gather information in the whole buying process, but never buy online, they just buy offline. In this study it was around 38%, which I think is amazing, right? You work in this e-commerce space, which is 10% of the industry, and there's a large group of people, 40%, who use the medium you use to sell to people, to just gather information and then buy offline. And yeah, if you combine these two findings, that's basically which led us then to Locafox.
And this ROPO group, do they especially buy specific product segments or do they buy in general offline?
I think you find them in all verticals, all product verticals, but in some product verticals you have them more than in others. I think fashion is where you have companies like Zalando, but still a lot of people buy offline. And why do they buy offline? Because you can touch the product, you can see if it fits correctly, you can see the color. Also electronics, right? If you want to buy a new computer, which is worth 1,000 euros, some people just feel more confident to go in a store, to speak with someone, because then they also know if I want to return it, I can just go there, and it's just they just feel more confident with it. So I don't think you can say this is in one specific vertical, but it's in basically every vertical. And I also think about it that you can't really say you're a ROPO customer, you're an online customer, you're an offline customer, right? We're hybrid. We do everything. It just depends on what feels right in that situation and what product it is and where you are. So a lot of things come together, which then basically you make the decision, hey, do I buy it online, do I buy it offline?
Yeah, for me it's the same. So I sometimes buy more expensive goods offline just because of the servicing and the return policies, because it makes it much easier to go there in the store.
And I, for example, just yesterday I had this example, right? You're looking for something because you're, for example, invited to a dinner and you want to look nice, and you just have 2 hours, right? You can't order online, you have to go somewhere, and then it's really important to know where to go, and I think this is also where Locafox comes into place.
Great, great pitch. So let's talk about the business model. How does the business model currently work? And I mean, it's something like a marketplace where you have some demand side and supply side. But can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So yeah, Locafox is two-sided marketplace. What we do, we digitalize the store inventory of retail stores, and then make this information accessible to consumers. What does that mean? We get all the inventory information, so availability, price, and so on. Let's say from the electronics store next door, and then I'm looking for a new smartphone. I go to Locafox, say, hey, I'm looking for the new Samsung Galaxy. And what Locafox does, it shows you, hey, these are the products in your area around you, and these are the stores that offer these products, and they're actually available. This is how much they cost, and this is how you get to the store. And then what you can do with Locafox, you can actually reserve the product and just go there and pick it up. And in the future, what we will offer is also a same-day delivery, so you don't even have to get out of the house, but we can bring it to your door. But I think this is rather a small fraction.
Okay, so one of the major value drivers for the Locafox business model is this instant gratification, meaning that the customer can get the product within the next 1 or 2 hours offline. How do you make sure that the process flow is that automized so that all the inventory is really available and with true and transparent information on your platform?
I think before we go into instant gratification, instant information, that's our first USP, right? Because you can get information immediately, right? We have real-time information about if the product is available, like what it costs and where it is available. And this is the first step. And then the next step is the instant gratification, because you now know that you can have the product for that certain price at that certain retailer. You can just go there and pick it up or get it delivered. So this is the first USP, second USP. And then the question was?
How do you want to make sure, because I mean some of the big retailers maybe don't have an API, so you get all the data immediately, or they need a lot of time for responding to some customer requests, which would mean that the time between, let's say, question and response would be quite high, which is then contrary to your value proposition.
If I reserve a product on Locafox, what we do, right, we basically ping the retailer and say, hey, this product is reserved by customer X. What the retailer then does, it picks the product and puts it at, let's say, it depends on the retailer, right, how the infrastructure is within the store. But let's say this is a retailer who has an information stand, and then they put it there and it's reserved for you. So this, obviously there's some time frame, but normally like the response rate is very quick, right? In the end, that's something we have to iterate on. I mean, that's why we are a startup, because we have to build the solution to a known problem, not because we already have it. But yeah, obviously, I think how it works now, we never had a complaint that this part of the process didn't work, but that's what we have to find out if we scale, if we might have a problem there. Because in the end, you have to educate the retailer. We have to be open with the consumer, like what is the status? You have to inform them. You have to be very transparent. Hey, this is the status of your reservation, and basically manage the expectations there.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the major hypotheses that you want to test and how you try to test them?
I mean, when we first set out to start Locafox, that's what we did. We didn't say, hey, let's build Locafox. We said, hey, we have this hypothesis that people actually want this information that we now try to deliver. And we had several hypotheses like this. Also that people want to get it delivered within a certain amount of time, and so on. And what we did is we first had to basically verify that. And we did that with speaking with a lot of potential customers. So we went out and interviewed a lot of consumers about their expectations when they go shopping online, when they go shopping offline. But also we wanted to know, hey, how can you combine these both worlds to get the best out of it? And then we basically had this qualitative feedback. We then quantified our findings there with surveys. Then we built an MVP to further test our hypotheses with real traffic that we brought to
with the end user, or
exactly. So what we did, we had a site that basically offered the exact same services like Locafox, but it's obviously it's not like a fully functioning site. It didn't look as beautiful as it does now. And I'm saying that because we just had a relaunch last week, and now it really looks beautiful. But that's what we tested with.
what hypothesis did you test with the retailers?
With the retailers in terms of if they
would be
this
interested in becoming partner.
That's a qualitative research that we did. So we basically speak with them. So we went to the big retail chains. We spoke with them, but we also went in every lunch break. We went into different retailers in our area and just spoke with them. Hey, just imagine we could do this. Would you like this kind of service? And that's what we did.
Okay, great. In terms of corporate strategy, so how do you plan to enter the market?
I mean, we are a double-sided marketplace. It's always the chicken-egg problem, right? What do you get first? Because we need retailers, so we have inventory on our side, and then we need to get consumers. But we always say you can't just serve one king, and the king is the consumer, because they, in the end, bring the money in. And that's why what we do now is building the density, how we call it. So what we need a lot of retailers who we then like the offers that we can show to the consumer. So at the moment our focus is to acquire all the retailers, and there we have basically a city by city approach. Because density in Germany is rather hard to get if you need to get all these small retailers where you have like 100,000 from. So we currently focus on Berlin, on Hamburg, on Munich, and acquire first big retail chains, because then if they bring in 100 stores, right, it's very you can get the density rather quickly. But then we also have field sales teams who really walk through every street of the city and speak to every retailer. Like, hey guys, do you want to come aboard? We have this great idea, this great business. And we bring value to you, we bring customers to your store that you never had before, these customers. Yeah. But this is what we do on the one side. And I think once we have this certain density within the different cities, we can then start marketing. And from a marketing perspective, what I think is very interesting for us, because we have a lot of unique information, obviously is, and on the other side we have a lot of people looking for local information about retailers. There was a study actually coming out in May this year from Google, and it stated like that 4 out of 5 customers are looking for local information, and they also found out like what they're looking for and found certain patterns. And in the retail section they look for store information like opening times, but also about product availability and so on. So obviously the organic potential here is rather high, but also to build that, it obviously needs some time. So in the beginning we will definitely focus on paid, but in the end what we want to build is a product for the mass market. So it's also about brand building. So a lot of things coming together here in the marketing side.
I mean, this is, from my point of view, a business model with a lot of networking effects. If you once established in the German market, for example, but how do you think about balancing being very dense in the German market with internationalization, for example? For example, because if there's only a specific window of opportunity in several markets, but would you rather focus only on Germany first until you get, I don't know, 50% market share, or would you rather go abroad if you have, like, say, 2% of market share in Germany?
We have a certain strategy for going international, but we need to see. I mean, we are building a business here that didn't exist before. We don't know how fast the adoption rate will be and so on. But I agree that it makes more sense to first go for a higher market share than already start internationalization at a market share of 2%. But in the end, that's what you need to judge when you really are at that point, and you see the opportunity window might be closing in other markets, and then you have to decide, hey, go or don't.
Okay. We always try to share some kind of insights with first-time entrepreneurs or people interested in starting their own company. What have been your major learnings for starting and scaling companies?
Yeah, I think if you start a company, you have to be really passionate about what you do, about the product you build, about the problem you solve, because there will be a lot of ups, but a lot of downs as well, right? And if you're not really passionate about it, it's a lot of stress, probably not worth dealing with.
Yeah.
So I think really, if you're going into starting your own venture, do something you're really passionate about. And what I think what is also very important, and what I think a lot of companies might improve in, is be very close to your customers, because you want to learn. Especially, I mean, a startup, you build something and you need to reduce risk. And how do you do that? By speaking with your customers, by knowing exactly what they want, what they're willing to pay for. And that's why never lose the touch with your customers. So if they make an order, just call them, follow up, right? Most of them are really happy if you're calling and ask them, hey, how was your experience? Is there anything we can do better? Yeah. So I think that is very important, because otherwise you might build a picture perfect product, but nobody wants to pay for it, right? Yeah. And I think that's that would be a very bad thing, not only for you but maybe for your investors as well. And you probably could have done something way more productive in your time as well. So I think never lose the touch with the customer.
Thank you very much, Fabian.
Thank you.